Hey there, welcome to my podcast. This is the first podcast I'm ever putting up, so I'm pretty excited. You can also find me on YouTube. I've got a lot of great videos up on YouTube right now. Okay, I'll be honest. I have 2 great videos up on YouTube and a lot of older stuff that's, fine. It's perfectly fine. But if you want to listen to stuff that I'm going to be talking about in this podcast, please go on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. My name on YouTube is Written Wildlife, and you can find me at Written Wildlife, all one word. Would love to have you join. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a tiny bit closer to being able to go live on YouTube. I think you need 1,000 people, which is kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. I've got about 37, I think. So, we're inching towards our goals. And anybody out there that has big dreams, I am in your corner. I know it's sometimes hard to keep a positive attitude, and it can be a struggle, but I think, in the end, we will persevere. In the end, I think life is kind of about hitting the spot. Like, you will hit your goal. If you don't somehow hit your goal, you may have been reaching for the wrong goal, and along the way, you figure that out. So it's a win-win-win. You get a new goal that you'll eventually hit. That's how I think it is. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, we want to talk about the news. I've done 2 videos so far on the news, exploring the question, is the news sacred? I've looked back at the history of the news. I looked at how different civilizations have used the news. We've even poked around at why the United States views news the way it does. We've looked at the golden era. We've established that it is sacred. It's even mentioned in the U.S. Constitution, in not the Second Amendment, not the Third Amendment, but the first freaking amendment. It says freedom of the press. Extremely important, right up there with freedom of religion, right up there with freedom of speech. Those are like the big underlying things. We take it seriously in this country. It's pretty wild. So yes, the news is super sacred. What does sacred mean? Something that holds reverence for you, and telling people about what's happening in places where they can't necessarily see it with their own eyes has been going on since forever. Officially, when forever started, it's been going on since back then. So we've been carrying news about our family, about our tribe, about our community, maybe about the weather. We've just been carrying things that have been happening in a story, in conversation, writing it on walls, writing it on tablets, sending it out on smoke signals, tying little knots to symbolize certain information and running those from one community to another. That was from the Incas, by the way. We talked about that a little bit. Even walking through towns, we had town criers. So they would walk through towns at a certain time and speak in a super loud voice, letting you know who has passed away. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you didn't know that your neighbor that lives 2 streets over has passed away, and that's important information, or somebody was born, or somebody got married. So there was even people that walked through towns and just announced. I remember when I was a little kid, the phone rang at my grandmother's, and somebody called. My grandma picked up the phone, and they just said, so-and-so's died, and they hung up. And my grandmother hung up, and she kind of complained. She didn't like this person that kind of took it upon themselves to communicate a death in the community. I thought it was really interesting. So I'm going to forgive myself for saying so many times, and I just want to tell you a little bit about my next little exploration. So I'm going to talk about an incredible woman, literally jaws dropping here. Her name is Tina Brown. She founded a lot of things. She's actually credited with making Vanity Fair into kind of the juggernaut of fashion and like sophisticated pop culture. She's helped them develop tremendously into what they are today. And there's another magazine that she did that for, super famous magazine. She founded the Daily Beast. She was I don't know, man. This lady had such a massive impact on news. And I specifically was looking for a female. I was specifically looking for somebody that's done something artistic and creative and interesting. And darn it, I'm going to tell you more about Tina Brown. Really incredible. Total contemporary. I honestly am not sure if she's still making news or if she has crossed over. I got to find that out for sure, because I feel like I got mixed messages when I was doing some research on her. And so not only is the next episode going to bring that, but I also want to tell you about something super exciting. So I decided to take a note out of Finland's book. And Finland has a way of focusing on the news that's unique. It's not like here. Finland has been established as a country way longer than the United States of America. So we're kind of a baby. They've been around a lot longer. And they specifically focus on community news, so hardcore community news. And I think that's really special. It's hard to get your mind out of this programming that you need to know what's going on politically, you need to know what's going on internationally, like the bigger pictures. And I think I have my theories about why the United States focuses on the bigger picture news. And I'm thinking, even though it's kind of like trying to eat your veggies for me, I'm thinking that it would be really great for us to focus a little bit more on local news, on community news, on people that we know that are doing interesting things and bringing that. So look at it like a cake. That's how I'm going to present it in our next episode. I think the one after Tina Brown. So it's going to be at the top, it's going to be a 4-tiered cake. At the top is going to be world news. So you're going to get a little bit of world news. I'll just give a brief overview of like 4 or 5 stories that are happening. Then we're going to do, I think, state news. So maybe something happening in specific states. That's always fascinating to me. I got to shout out to state news. Then we'll do local. So I live in San Francisco. You'll be hearing about this metropolis. And then we'll do personal. So it'll be somebody from my life. There is so many fascinating people. I think it's all amazing. I'm really excited to talk about that. I have somebody in mind with a story that's going to... I don't know. It's going to blow your mind. I'll just say that much. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Find me again on YouTube at Written Wildlife, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.